notion of attachment. I'm taking that as an example. Being attached to something, property, man, woman, the book I have written, or the knowledge I've acquired, the attachment. And the battle to be detached. But the attachment brings pain. Therefore, I say to myself, I must be detached, and the battle begins. And the whole content of my consciousness is this, the battle which we described previously.
Yes.
Now, can that content be emptied, empty itself? Not emptied by an act of perception. Yeah? Empty itself, which means can this whole content be observed with its unconscious content? You follow, sir?
Yes, I do. I'm
there
thinking...
is conscious, I can be consciously aware of the content of my consciousness.
Yes.
My house, my property, my wife, my children, my job, the things I've acquired, the things I've learned. I can be consciously aware of all that. But also there is deeper content in the very recesses of my mind, which is racial, collective, acquired, the things that unconsciously I gathered, the influences, the pressures, the strains of living in a world that's corrupt, all that is seeped in, all that is gathered in there.
Both personal and impersonal.
Yes.
This includes then what the depth psychologists are calling collective
I don't know what they call it.
As well as the personal consciousness.
Collective as well.
Right.
So that is that. Now, can all that be exposed? Because this is very important. Because if I really want to go, if the mind really wants to understand and grasp the full meaning of death, the vastness of it, the great quality of a mind that says, yes, that's empty, it gives it tremendous vitality, energy. So, my question is, can the mind be aware totally of all the content, hidden as well as the open? The collective, the personal, the racial, the transitory. The whole of that. Now, we say it is possible through analysis.
Yes, we do.
I said analysis paralysis. Because every analysis must be perfect, complete. And you are frightened that it might not be complete. And if you have not completed it, you carry it over as a memory, which will then analyze the next incident. So each analysis brings its own incompleteness.
Oh, certainly, yes.
Therefore, it is a total paralysis.
In following what you're saying, I'm very taken with what we usually regard as death, which has a very clear relationship to what you've said about the endless series of analytical acts.
Yes, sir.
We regard death as a terminus in terms of a line.
Right. Well, because we think laterally.
We think laterally, exactly. But what you're saying is, on the contrary, we must regard this vertically.
Yes.
And in the regarding of it vertically, we no longer see, please check me if I'm off here, we no longer see death as simply a moment of termination to a certain trajectory of repetition. But there is a total qualitative change here, which is not the cessation of something that we have to regret, as though we'd lost something valuable.
Yes, I'm leaving my wife and children.
Right.
And my property, my blasted blank account. You see, sir, this is really, if one can go very deeply into this, there is this content, which is my consciousness, acquired, inherited, imposed, influenced, propaganda, attachment, detachment, anxiety, fear, pleasure, all that. And also the hidden things. I'm asking myself, since analysis is really paralysis, not an intellectual supposition, but actually it is not a complete act. Analysis can never produce complete act. The very word analysis means to break up, you know, the breaking up.
To loosen up.
Loosen up, break it up. Therefore, I reject that totally. I won't analyze, because I see this, the stupidity, the paralytic process of it. Then what am I to do? You follow? Because that is the tradition. Introspective or paralysis, analysis by myself or by a professional, which is now the fashion, and so on, so on, so on. So what if the mind sees the truth of it, and therefore analysis falls away, then what is the mind to do with the content?
Yes, I do see that.
We know what the content is. We don't have eternally described. Now what is it to do? It has to be emptied. Otherwise, it's mere continuity.
No, there's no use analyzing what is already there, because that will not change what is there in any way, shape, or form. No. That seems to be very, very plain. Although we, perhaps you would for a moment explain why we simply refuse to see that. We do believe that an analytical inquiry is ordered to a revelation.
No, sir, you can see it in a minute. Analysis implies and the analyzer and the analyzed.
Yes.
The analyzer is the analyzed.
Yes, we're back to the observer and observed word.
I am analyzing my anger. Who is the analyzer? Part of the fragment which is anger. So the analyzer pretends to be different from the analyzed. But when I see the truth that the analyzer is the analyzed, then the totally different action takes place. Then there is no conflict between the analyzer and the analyzed. There is instant action, a perception, which is the ending and going beyond the what is.
The reason I asked for the explanation was because of the concern raised earlier about knowledge.
Yes. After all, the observer is knowledge.
Yes. I was concerned that study in its proper form was not regarded in the context of our discussion as unprofitable as such.
No.
We don't mean that.
We didn't even discuss it.
Exactly.
That's
yes,
so obvious.
Yes, do go ahead. Well, yes, it is obvious in terms of our discussion, but the thing that concerns me is that so ingrained is the notion that, for instance, in the story I told about when I came to hear you years ago, I began doing analysis while I was